Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this webinar. We're going to talk to you about the Health and Social Care Programme at the University of Derby. I'd like to introduce myself. So I'm Helen Morgan. I'm Programme Lead for the BA Honours in Health and Social Care. And also this evening we've got with me my colleague, Carl, who's going to talk to you as well.
Hi there, my name's Carl. I'm one of the lecturers as well on the Health and Social Care Programme, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you all tonight.
Okay, so just going to go through very briefly what we're going to cover today. So we're going to introduce you to the programme, to the course. We're going to have a look at the university awards and course rankings, talking to you specifically about the University of Derby. And then we're going to move on to look at the course highlights, to look at the College of Health Psychology and Social Care facilities. Once we've done that, then we'll move on to specifically look at the course in detail. So we'll consider who's going to be teaching you, what you'll cover during the programme, how you'll learn. We're going to look at some of the modules that you'll cover as part of the programme and talk to you about the placements that you'll undertake while you're studying on the programme. Then we'll end up with looking at where this degree will take you. So what are your options once you graduate from the programme? Talk to you about career opportunities, the career support that's available for you, and any further study that you might want to do when you've completed the programme. And then at the end, there'll be a time and an opportunity for you to ask us any questions that you might have. So, as we've said, we're looking at the BA Honours degree in Health and Social Care. So this is a programme, it's a brand new programme that was revalidated last academic year. So it's bang up to date. We've spoken to our placement agencies and asked them what they'd like to be as part of the programme. We've looked and considered the changes that have taken place in health and social care recently, and some of those related back to the pandemic. And then we've talked to our current students and our students who have already graduated from the degree to see what they'd like. So it is a revalidated programme. So some of the awards that we've got, so we were in the top 20 for teaching and quality in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide 2024. We're in the top 20 in the UK for overall student satisfaction, and that again is 2024. 96% of our UK graduates are in employment or further study. So that was from the HESA graduate outcomes in 2021. And our halls, so our accommodation, were voted the best university housing and best environmental management in 2023. And as part of that, and going on alongside all that, then as academics, we're carrying out innovative research that's having a real world impact. And we're very proud of that. So we're also in the top 10 for student satisfaction in health studies. So that's when our students are asked, are they happy with the programme that we're on? And again, we're absolutely delighted to be in the top 10 in the UK. And that's really current and up to date. So that was in the Complete University Guide in 2024. Also in the top 5 for satisfaction with teaching in social work. So the social work programme sits within our college, and that was in the Guardian University Guide in 2024. So as you can see, we work hard as a team, we're proud of what we do, and our students are satisfied with the programme that they're on. So I'm going to move swiftly on to talk to you about the BA Honours Health and Social Care. So it's a full-time programme of study over 3 years. We're based at the Kedleston Road campus, so just on the edge of the city. Lots and lots of views from round and about, but it's just a short distance into the city centre, and there are buses that run from the campus to take you into the city centre if you need that. So to come on to the programme, we look at our students having between 104 and 120 UCAS points, which is A-level equivalent of a BCC or BBB. If you're studying for T-level, then we ask for a merit. Those of you working towards BTEC qualifications, then looking for a distinction merit. And as part of that, we also ask that you've got an English qualification, so an English language qualification at grade 4 or C or above or an equivalent qualification. So by that, I mean that you could have functional skills. The programme can also be studied with the foundation year. So if you don't meet those qualifications, you can come and do a foundation year with us and then move on to the full degree. I think it's really important to point out as well that we also take students without UCAS points. So if you've been working as a health and social care professional and you've been working at level 3, then we would consider your application if you're over 21 and you've got that relevant experience. And that means that our student cohorts can be from people aged 18 who've just left school through to there is no final age limit on that. We've got a student this year who will be graduating with us, and she'll be 65 when she graduates. If you haven't got those UCAS qualifications or those UCAS points, then we still ask that you've got an English grade 4 C or a functional skill at level 2, and that's just so you've got those English writing skills to be able to come onto the degree. So our degree is perfect for students who want to follow their passions for working with people, but might not be quite sure which career path they want to follow. So by completing this degree, then it opens up lots of opportunities for postgraduate study, where you could go on to study nursing, so that might be paediatric nursing, mental health nursing, or general nursing, or nursing with learning disabilities. You might go on to study social work, youth work, radiography, occupational therapy, and that list goes on to include teaching. So that might be with infants, juniors, senior school teaching, or in the world of FE. So there's lots of opportunities there for you that it will open up. Some of the best bits of the programme, then you're prepared for a career where you can plan and deliver health and social care services which are fit for the future. So I've already mentioned that the programme's been very recently revalidated, so it is up to date and current. Because what in the big wide world, people are looking for versatile, adaptable, and skills within that field of health and social care. Those professionals are very much in demand. So the theory that you learn while you're on the programme, you'll put into practice as a health and social care professional, but also as part of the programme, then you'll undertake 2 work placements in a range of different settings. We're very proud of the fact that we're the only health and social care programme in the country that actually offers students 2 work placements. So those placements can be from working in a care home to community projects, from working with babies and children through people with mental health issues, all the way through to end-of-life care. So we have a whole range of placements that you might be able to undertake. You'll do 1 in your 2nd year and 1 in your 3rd year. So the course was designed in partnership with experts from the sector, again ensuring those studies are up to date. We asked health and social care professionals what would they like to see from our graduates. As part of the programme, then, we draw on strong professional links and benefit from inviting in guest lecturers, carrying out fact-finding visits, networking opportunities. And as a team, then as the 6 academics who are part of the team, then we're friendly and supportive in our approach, and we all come from very different health and social care backgrounds. So some of us were nurses, some of us were counsellors, youth workers, social workers. So as a team, then we're able to offer our students that variety of teaching and experience that we bring with us. Again, we make the most of our exceptional learning facilities. So the facilities that we've got at the university allow our students, as part of the College of Health, Psychology and Social Care, to experience how it would be to be a practitioner in the world of health and social care. So getting our students ready to go on placement, building confidence and applying theory to practice. And you can see there's an example of when we use the Specialist Forensic Training House, so as we can hopefully simulate those situations that you'll be part of and prepare you for going out on those placements. I'm now going to hand you over to Carl, and he's going to talk to you about the different modules and how the course is broken down.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Helen. So as said, I'm going to cover the different modules that we have on the programme. For those of you that aren't used to that term, a module is a topic, and that's what you'll study over about 12 weeks. You have usually around 6 modules a year, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of them. But first of all, I've got a picture to show you. We thought we'd start at your end goal. So this is the team. You might recognise Helen and myself at the back. This is quite a special photo for me because while I am one of the lecturers on the programme, I also studied health and social care. So this is my graduation, and I decided to change my career. I started as a counsellor, and while I still do that a little bit, I thought I wanted to get into a different career. So I came and studied health and social care, and it led to this. So this is the team. As Helen said, we've got multiple different professions, which will lead us on to the breakdown of the team on the next slide. So our backgrounds are mental health nurse, a medical nurse, we'll say proper medical nurse, and a social worker, 2 youth workers, and myself as a counsellor. And what this allows us to do, which is quite unique for our programme, health and social care is about interprofessional working. It's the core principle of everything in health and social care. If you see things happening on the news, things that have gone wrong in social care, and when things have gone right, it's all down to how people work together. So we bring that knowledge of all the different professions together, and you'll see that reflected in our teaching. When there was a few of us together within a session, you'll see those different perspectives. Emma, the mental health nurse, might offer something from a psychological perspective, whereas I might think of something from a communication perspective, and then Sarah, the social worker, might come in and say, what about the safeguarding principles? So you will see that, and you will hopefully see those professions role modelled in us. So it'll give you a bit of insight as to what those professions are like when you do decide where you want to go. And we all act as your personal academic tutor, which means that for the 3 years, or the 4 if you're doing the foundation, you've got one of us. You were matched with one of us as what we call the PAT, and we will guide you and support you. So we'll talk to you about what you want to be, where you want to go. And you might not know when you first start, and this is one of the great things about health and social care. It's ideal for people who don't know what they want to do. And we'll look at how you're getting on, how you're studying, and have those conversations with you. Oh, you've really excelled in this area. Do you want to think about radiography, or do you want to think about counselling, or do you want to think about nursing? We'll see where you feel like you're doing best, and what we see in you as well. So hopefully tapping into those ambitions, which leads us on to what you will be covering. So we provide a balance of academic, practical and vocational knowledge, values and skills, current and forward thinking. So like Helen said, we are a recently validated program, which means we've taken apart the program completely and we've looked at all the content, and we've all spent so much time rewriting it, making sure it's up to date. And with theory relating to practice, we don't want it to necessarily be a process where you are just receiving information and thinking, what's the point of that? It's about, here's an element of safeguarding, here's an element of the law, here's an element of communication skills. How does that relate to actually interacting with people, with working with people in health and social care? And again, the interprofessional learning is an amazing element of it. And we won't just be, you'll see us as the team, but we are, as Helen said, sit in the same college as social work and other teams. So you will see those other professionals coming in and supporting us in class and taking sessions. So things like social work, play therapists, all kinds of different people coming in and sharing their skills and telling you how that relates to practice. We base everything we teach on research, and we share that with you. You get materials to look at before the session, after the session, tells you how we've built it and put it all together. And that practice-based teaching, again, it's all about learning the skills. So we'll have you doing a lot, but we'll talk about that in the next slide, about learning experience. So we do have the standard lectures and seminars, so there will be a bit of standing up and talking, but mostly we want things like debates, because social care is about learning and doing. If you go into a busy environment where you need to support an individual, learning to debate, learning how to present yourself through a role play will make you a better practitioner. And you'll understand the research behind that. So when I say role play, I mean you're acting out a role. So someone might simulate being a client in a professional situation, a service user, and the other one will look at the communication skills they need, or the practical skills, and then someone might observe them. You'll be doing group work. Going back to the core of interprofessional working, you will be learning how to work together as a group, and we'll support you with that. That probably sounds scary at this point, but once you get into it, you'll be supported, and you'll do projects together, which will be really great. At the end of one of those modules, at the end of those 12 sessions, you'll see you've built something together as a group. Yeah. So then if we look at what the modules do entail, if you decide to study the foundation year with us, you'll start with communication skills, which is looking at the principles of effective communication with service users. Preparation professional practice is looking at how practice has changed in recent history and your own attitudes toward care. So this is the start of your journey of shaping you as a practitioner. Promoting equality in human professions is looking at workers' roles in promoting well-being, choice and confidence in the people that we work with. And as well, you start off with some of the study skills, so you will be looking at that academic writing elements. And if you need to use the foundation year to get to a point with your English, maths, then you can use the foundation year to do that. And that's a great starting point. And there's other optional modules if you want to look at things like that, like health, wellbeing, creativity. So then if we go on to stage 1 for our program. So it is a year 1 module. So apologies if we're using the academic and all the terms without thinking. Just put a question in if I am saying a term you're not sure about. So year 1, or what we call stage 1, is when you start on the program proper. Although I will say, if you do the foundation year, you still get one of us as a personal academic tutor. So we'll support you. You're on our program. We will support you from that point. But stage 1, you're looking at foundations of learning, which, as the title says, it's about, imagine you're building a building and health and social care is the building. The foundations are how you study. A lot of what can be intimidating concepts of academic writing and how you properly show that you've read particular sources, your books, your websites, your academic journals. You learn all that. And we're really proud of this module because it supports our students into getting their academic skills to the point where they can pass their assignments really well and they understand how to write, what to write, how many words to put in a paragraph, how to plan your assignment. So you're not just thrown into it and expected to just write without any kind of support. And so our students do say how much that helps them, especially when they get to the second year. They really reflect on how much Foundations for Learning supported them. For the next module, Health Perspectives, I'll just briefly pass back to Helen because it's Helen's module. So she's going to tell a little bit about that.
Okay, thanks, Carl. So the Health Perspectives module is when we look at health and what health might mean to us, and then we go on to think about what impact does it have if our health becomes an issue. And as part of that, we get you to choose a health issue. So it can be a mental health issue or it can be a physical health issue, and explore what that would look like. So how people go on to live with long-term health conditions and the impact that has on them and their family and their carers and the people around them. Thanks, Carl.
Brilliant, thank you. So the next module is social inequality. So this one is really good. You're looking at all the different, I suppose, types of people, what you might hear as protected characteristics, race, gender, age, religion, disability, all the protected characteristics. And we know that people are oppressed in society, and social inequality is taking a really good look at that and saying, why are people oppressed? What causes it? What can we as health and social care practitioners do to not repeat those mistakes? Because you are, the theme here is that you are becoming the next of health and social care practitioners, hopefully, if you join us. So we're looking at how to avoid perpetuating oppression in society. The next module, psychological approach to human growth and development, that's looking essentially at psychology from birth to death and everything in between. You will be following a family through a case study. There's several members of this family from different age ranges. They've all got something going on and all got difficulties in their lives. And so you're going to be looking at different theories. Why the people act the way they do, why they tick, and what we can do to support them in that area. So this is really interesting because you get to really start getting an understanding of people. Alongside that, so at the moment we're in the second semester. So alongside this module, you're looking at social approaches to health and wellbeing, which is essentially a sociology module. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but we are impacted by everything around us. We as humans cannot live in isolation. So something that happens a few doors down in the community, the local city council's office, right up to something happening on the television, to government decisions, it all impacts us, and this is society, and it impacts our health, it impacts our well-being. And this module will really be looking at that and again answering that question of why does this impact the way it does. And those two, psychology and sociology, go really well alongside working with people in health and social care. This is my module in stage 1. We will be looking at you as a practitioner and how you can impact. Again, you've learned about all the things around you. So this is about learning how to impact and communicate with those things around you. So you start off by understanding yourself, and then you look at communication skills for working with service users in a one-to-one or group setting, kind of bringing in some counselling skills at this point. And then you start going outwards into that community aspect. You're looking at how to work with other professionals, getting that interprofessional working, which is the key. And then thinking about right up to the policy level when the government are making decisions. What's that about? How can we impact that from the health of the public health perspective? So I think you can see the theme for year one is just understanding your place within this environment and where you're going. So hoping by the end of year one, you have a bit of an idea of what you've enjoyed, what you've liked, and then going into year two, we should be supporting you into actually coming to make those career decisions. So looking at stage two, we're putting everything together. And this is one of the key things about the university. All your stage one modules will inform and carrying on building that building. You're now onto the second floor with safeguarding adults, safeguarding children, different rooms that you've built the foundations on in your first year. So safeguarding adults is again exactly as it says. It's looking at how we safeguard people within society. You just need to turn on the news to know that things go wrong, people aren't protected as they should be, and you will be exploring what you can do and how what your backing is from, say, a policy perspective, a legal perspective, that kind of thing. And alongside that, you'll be learning safeguarding children. You will be studying, again, things that went wrong. We usually do this through what's called a serious case review. So it's looking at someone who's been harmed. And you're supported through this all the time. But it's really important to look at the mistakes that happened in order to understand what we do right. And then you build on that. You build on it by learning what to do right. Preparation for practice, that's our placement module. I won't go into detail about that because Helen's going to talk about placements in a minute. But our students go out onto that with all the knowledge they've got so far, that foundation and that second floor of safeguarding. You're now ready to go out into practice, which again might sound scary, but you will be ready when you're there. We'll help you to get ready. And most of our students come back and say that it just changes, and we see it. They go out and they come back different people because they are really learning, and it really shows you at that point what you've been learning and how you put it into practice. So when you come back off placement, you'll be looking at a couple of topics. Research, which is just how we get to the point of all this information you've learned so far. So you're looking at your books, websites, and anything else you're reading from. And the research module just tells you how that happens, how those, what we call studies, are formed. It's really interesting because you will then be preparing yourself to be a really excellent writer in the third stage. But alongside that as well, you're doing public health and health promotion. So if you think back to COVID and other health issues you might have seen on the TV, these are all public health concerns. And however it was done, we could talk, and you will talk a lot about how things like COVID, the public health campaigns went. We did a lot right, we did a lot wrong. And in this module, you'll be looking and understanding why, the whys again, and what could have been done a little bit differently or a lot differently. And because every decision that's made, all those adverts, all the slogans, everything that happened in COVID was based upon what we call theories and models, and you'll be learning and understanding them. So you won't, when you've done this module, you won't be able to walk around and see a poster for a health issue without going, oh yeah, that's why they're using that terminology. That's why they're doing that. They're targeting that person with that. It'll be really, this one will change your worldview a little bit, which is great. Okay, so then we go on to the third year. And one of the themes of the third year is you are now getting to the point where you're nearly a professional. You've been doing the course for a couple of years. So you've built up those skills to study and learn independently. And at the end of your second year, we will launch with you what we call an independent study. So that's where you write a piece that don't sound too intimidating now, but when you get to the end of the second year, it's something that is yours. It's your project. It's your topic, what you want to write about. Just as long as it's related to health and social care, and you'll be matched with another practitioner who's got an understanding of that field, of whatever you want to write about. And then we'll support you to to run this piece and make a really nice piece your own. You'll have another management and development of professional practice, which is another placement module, which again Helen will talk about, and that's your second placement. So at this point you've had one, and then you will have reflected and you'll have thought, what do I need to do on the next one? What skills do I need to put myself out there and learn? How can I challenge myself? What am I good at? And this will really help solidify you as a professional. You also have some optional modules you can take. So you will choose 2 optional modules. Managing services is for those of you that might want to go into some kind of management role. Maybe you see yourself as a team leader, as a nurse, or going into a management position in a care home or something similar. Most roles within health and social care have some element of leadership. You don't even have to be a manager to get an advantage from taking the management and leadership module, because it'll teach you those skills, interacting with people with authority, but from a social care perspective. Counselling perspectives, that's a module that I'm teaching at the moment. And this one we will be looking at different models and theories of counselling, because there's a perception that counselling is usually just one thing. You might have someone listen to you and they cock their head on the side and that's it. But there's lots of different types of counselling, and we'll explore that. You'll also get to have a go. So if you choose that module and leave that module, you will be a better communicator. You'll learn to listen to people, and that's one of the keys to it. Listening is not easy to do effectively. It takes a lot of skill. There's a lot of abilities you can learn through that module. The impact of living with long-term health conditions is the key word in that module, is impact. This is, what is the impact of a health condition on an individual, those around them, the carers, their families, and even the health professionals around them. This is taking a really in-depth look at that, and it's another element of almost independent study with that. We'll work with you to pick a health condition that you can write about. It's a really exciting module, and one that you have a lot of control over. We're really excited about this one. And then there's substance misuse, which is learning about the cycles of addiction. Why do people turn to different substances? Because it doesn't just happen in isolation. You've probably got the impression by now it's all impacting on people, everything around the person. The reason things happen is because of the 100 things that happened to them before they came to you as a service user. So you need to unpick that. And substance misuse module is a really good one for exploring that. Okay, so that's stage 3, and I've passed back to Helen now to talk about placements.
Okay, thanks, Carl. So, as we've already said, students undertake 2 placements as part of the programme. The placement that you do in stage 2 is after Christmas. So the teaching for that module runs from the summer through to Christmas, and then our students go out on placement. And that placement is to give you the opportunity to experience what it's like working in the field of health and social care. So it might be that you've already decided what you want to do and you've got that focus, or it might be that you're not sure. So it's the opportunity to try an environment and to see if it's something that you think might appeal to you. The second placement, the management and development of professional practice, as Carl's already said, takes place in stage 3. So that actually is the last thing that students do as part of the programme, is their 3rd year placement. And it actually provides students quite often with the opportunity to access work, whether it be a part-time job or a full-time job. Really gives them an insight and the opportunity to be able to develop some of those skills. A lot of our students do actually get jobs as they finish their placement. So the first placement, the preparation for practice, students go out for 18 days. So that's 2 days a week over a 9-week period. and have a link person at the placement where they're going and somebody at university. So it's that supported environment. We do have lots of placements. We've got a big portfolio for students to choose from. So I look at an application form that students are asked to fill in and try and match them with a placement that's meeting what they'd like to do, what they'd like to experience. But it is exciting, and students do really look forward to going out on placement. And as Carl's already alluded to, often come back really very positive and having lots of ideas, and helps them shape where they'd like their future career to go. It provides you with that opportunity to think about your career options, but also to network with employers. So if some voluntary work comes up, then there's the opportunity for you to be able to do that, which alongside with your qualification is really, really important to have that rounded approach to things. And we do have a dedicated placements team as well. So we do work hard to try and make those placements a really positive experience. The placement that you do in the third year is a little more structured. So that's an opportunity for you to work with your placement and to carry out a project. So it might be something that they're looking at developing, or something that you've got a specialised interest in, and again working to develop that project to run alongside the placement. And that forms part of the assessment. So it really is that opportunity to explore what the workplace is going to be like. The next slide that I'm going to show you is some quotes that actually have come from our students. So we can see there, the placement allowed me to feel more confident going into a new workplace and doing something new. Placement taught me how to adapt and learn to work with adolescents who've got a range of learning disabilities and needs, again building confidence and assertiveness. As Cherise says, she identified and overcame personal bias and discrimination that previous to the placement experience I didn't know I held. Kate says that the placement gave her the experience of working and being part of a community, making small changes and being able to be resilient around my own development. So, as I say, it really is an opportunity. So our students go out to all sorts of organisations, charities, the county council. It really is a big portfolio that you've got, and we can allocate placements from. So thinking where this degree will take you, and what you can do once you graduate. We've already said that lots of our students go off and do further study, and Carl's going to explore that with you in a little while. But also students will take up graduate jobs, so working in the local authority, the National Health Service, multi-agency teams working with children, young people and adults, working with people who are homeless and have social housing services, working with refugees and asylum seeker support agencies, appropriate adult and advocacy work, health promotion services, community mental health teams, intensive family support teams, residential and nursing care management, commissioning and care management teams, and care coordinator management. And that really is just such a short list. It could be several slides long, but they're just a snapshot of some of the graduate outcomes and career opportunities that our students have. If you've got any questions about placements, then please pop them in the chat and hopefully we can address them afterwards. I'm going to hand you back to Carl, and he's going to talk to you about the ongoing career support.
Thank you. Okay, so I've already talked a little bit about having your personal academic tutor. So one of the team, we will support you in figuring out who you are as a practitioner or where you see yourself wanting to be. And so once you've you've made that decision, or even if you're not a little bit too sure, we have career support within the university. And throughout the program, you'll develop those professional and professional skills that the employers want. You'll be good at problem solving, good at communication, presenting, and collaborative working, and really importantly, reflecting on everything that's going on around you. And we, within the sessions, we'll come and talk to you occasionally about careers and job seeking and interview techniques, applications. Just a few days ago, we talked to our stage ones about looking at their career opportunities. We did a little task with them where we were supporting them to figure out what their career might be. And then throughout that, and especially once you've finished, our Careers and Employment Service provides you with help, guidance and support. And this is something that we offer up to 3 years after you've completed your studies, because we want you to have good outcomes, what we call graduate outcomes. Helen said at the beginning, now we have a 97% success rate of people getting graduate jobs. So that means that you're getting that professional job where you're using your degree. And we'll also support you in things like you might need a reference. So it's great to have that, because a lot of people leave university and then it just feels like you're left like, what do I do now? And that won't be the case. And even while you're studying, the careers department can help you look for bits of part-time work. While studying with us is a full-time job, essentially, you might be able to get a couple of hours here and there. And the university also offers some job offers within the university as well. So there's lots of roles you can take in that respect. So it's really important to us, because you are, the next generation of health and social care practitioners, that you get those good graduate jobs, and we will absolutely support you with that. So another element is further study. So maybe you have that goal of going into a different profession. So maybe nursing, occupational therapy, radiography, education, social work, youth work, counselling, and many more. You might be doing this, looking at this degree, because you might not have been able to get the place you want on this professional course. But what I'd say to that is that don't look at it as a negative. We speak to the leaders of these programs, and they always tell us that the health and social care students are their stronger students. So you've spent that time understanding the whole health and social care environment before you going into having that narrow look at social work or counselling or occupational therapy. And having done health and social care and the postgraduate course, which is further study, you are leaving a much stronger healthcare professional. And so hopefully you will decide to stay with us. If you do go into your postgraduate course, you could get a discount into that from Derby. So it's good to have that progression and continuation, and we can arrange conversations with other staff from those programs as you progress. So maybe if you decide you want to talk about social work, you're not sure if it's for you, we can go into the next room and get, say, Jen from social work to just kind of have a quick chat with you and then see, is it for you? And same with the other ones as well. And once you figure this out, I talked about it, the modules having almost an independent study element to them. One thing we're really proud of is that you can tailor a lot of what you write or where you do the assignments on the program. So say you're interested in working with disabilities, all the way back in stage one, we were talking about health perspectives module. You can look at that from a disability point of view. You're working with people, your communication skills, you can study and write that assignment as though you're looking at it from a disability point of view. Same with the other modules. You can pick the person in the psychology case study I talked about, that family, you can pick the person with a disability. If you're interested in children, same thing. You can do all those modules I've just told you and have a child-based focus. And of course, we've got the Safeguarding Children module as well. So there is a misconception it's health social care is just all adults, but it's all ages. It's across the life course, what we call it, from birth to death. So anything really can be your focus, right up to the point where you're doing your independent study, or maybe you want to go on a placement that's child-based or something like that. So once you figure out, or when you're wanting to play about with those ideas in your mind, we will absolutely support you. And you can come to us and go, oh, I'm really interested in working with children. How do I tailor my module experience to that? And we'll talk to you about it, or disability or anything else. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, so thanks, Carl. So if you want to get in touch with us, then you can see our details and our email addresses are on the slide there. If you're an applicant, then you can book your place at our Health, Social and Community Workshop on Saturday the 8th of June, or there is an open day on Saturday the 22nd of June. So we'd like to thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, then please put them in the chat, because now we've got time to be able to answer some of those questions that you might have. So thanks, everyone.
Hi, Helen. Hi, Carl. Thank you again for an excellent presentation. And now we are going to move on to the Q&A section of the evening. We've only got about 15 minutes and we've got lots of questions, so we'll try and get through as many as we possibly can. So to start with, the first question is, how much time will be spent using the facilities compared to classroom-based learning?
Okay, thanks, Charlotte. I'll take that. I'll take that question. So it's a mixture of the both. It's a mixture of the two. We do spend a lot of time in the classroom, but as Carl alluded to, it's not all us standing in front and teaching you. There's lots of activities. There's lots of going and finding out and bringing that information back. Lots of role play, but in a way of getting students to think about what's happening and what experiences they might have. So we do get students to use that knowledge that they've got as much as possible. So I think the answer is a mixture of the two, but we certainly don't stand giving 3-hour lectures.
Thank you, Helen. The next question is what someone has said: it's my dream to be a paediatric nurse, but I have been offered this course as an alternative offer. Could I still be a children's nurse?
Okay, thank you. That's an interesting question. So the answer is yes, this is definitely a program that can be a route to that. Talked about the postgraduate options. Child nursing is one of the ones, especially it's in the university as well currently. And yeah, if you have that focus, like I talked about, let us know as soon as you've been paired up with your personal academic tutor and you're on our program. Let them know that that's the path you want to take, and we will support you. We'll make sure, working with the careers department and others, that you have all the requirements you need to make sure you can take that path onto the children's nursing. And again, tailoring the modules to, you might want to focus on public health from a children's perspective, do your independent study from a children's perspective, really looking at how you can get that head start when you do go into children's nursing program properly. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Someone has asked, how is the contact time split between lectures, seminars and placements, and how often will I meet with my academic tutor?
Okay, good. Another good question. So our students meet with their academic tutors on a one-to-one basis twice a semester, and then as a group of tutees with their personal academic tutor once a semester. But obviously, if a student needs some more support, then we would signpost them where they're able to gain that support. The other question, I believe, was about how long students are at university. So our students, it's a full-time programme of study, but the lectures are based over 2 days. So there might be time with that for some tutorials, some didactic teaching, some face-to-face teaching. And certainly when students go out on placement, then we do look to them having 2 days a week while they're actually out on placement, because some of our students, we fully understand, have caring responsibilities and sometimes will have a job as well.
Thank you, Helen. Someone has said, I'm nervous about studying at university because I haven't studied for a long time. Will the Foundation of Learning module help me get up to speed, and is there other support also available?
Okay, so yeah, this is a big question, and one that, hopefully is important to everybody. This is absolutely natural to be nervous about studying at university, especially if you've been away for a long time, a mature student, what we call it. I came in as a mature student and I wasn't sure what I was going to expect, but there is support for that if you've been away for a long time. There's groups that you can join that are mature student groups where you can just chat and have like-minded people. In terms of actually studying, because the question said about Foundations of Learning module, yes, that will get you up to speed. That will teach you all the things you need to know, all the academic terms, all the language-based, how to form your assignments and the different types of assignments. And you have a practice with that module, what we call a formative assessment, where you submit a little, just tiny mini essay, not many words, but it just allows us to go, right, here's where you need to pick up and improve on. Here's what you're doing well. Now go off and do your real ones, your proper assignments. And so people find that really useful. And in terms of other support, the university has absolutely amazing resources. Through the library, they create and run their own support website. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the term, the wiki, like a Wikipedia kind of website, where it's just all study skills, where you can develop a topic. Maybe you've got a presentation, it tells you how to do that, how to build up those skills. They run their own podcasts and do videos and help in that respect. You can also book onto extra library training courses. So maybe you do the Foundations of Learning and maybe you're still not feeling 100% sure about how many words to put in a paragraph. So you can sign up to one of the library courses about writing paragraphs. So yes, so much support. And if you're ever lost when you're here, if you read your feedback from your assignments and it says you need to improve in this area and you're not sure how to do that, either contact the person who marked it or contact your personal tutor and they will point you in where to go. There's so much support. What you have to do is just ask for it and tell us that you want that, and we will no end find support for you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Carl. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to try and group a few questions together. So someone has said, in year 3, can I switch my optional module if I find that I'm not enjoying my module?
Okay, I'm happy to pick that question up. Again, an interesting question. We would, as part of the PAT, so the post-academic tutoring system that Carl was talking about, then we would guide and support students. So hopefully they've chosen the right optional module for them. Once a module's started, it's really hard to change modules. So it isn't something that you'd go into blindly without lots of information. Before students move into the next year, so from stage 1 to stage 2 and from stage 2 to stage 3, then we have what's called a step up period of time, and so those units are explored and discussed, and again the student will meet with their personal academic tutor, see where they're seeing their career is going, so hopefully they're supported to take the right module.
Thank you, Helen. And we've got a few questions about placement, so I think you're probably the best person to answer these ones. Someone has said, how much time will I spend on placement? How far will I have to travel? And what support is available for helping me find a placement?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. Okay, so for the year 2 placement, students spend 18 days on placement over a 9-week period. So we look at them working or for attending for 2 days a week over that 9-week period, and we'd look at that being what is a day's work. We try to place students as near to their term time address as we can. So if somebody lived in Derby, then we wouldn't hopefully place them in Leicester, etc. So we do try and keep it within the where the travel's not a problem. However, if there was, let's say somebody really wanted a particular placement and we knew there was travel involved, then I'd talk to the students and say, is this something that's feasible? Is this something that you'd want to do to make that journey? And we find students placements. Students don't have to find their own placement. They're allocated to students. So the answer to that is you don't need support to find your placement. It's found for you, with you, alongside you.
Thank you, Helen. We've had a few questions about people asking how they can specialise in a certain subject after the degree. So, for example, someone said, how do I get into radiography after I finish the programme? Someone said, I want to work in the area of mental health, but I'm not sure how to be a social worker or how do I specialise in this? So I guess the overall question is, how would someone get into specialising in the area that they want to after this degree?
So that great questions, and that will be about keep in touch with your personal tutor and looking at opportunities for talking to those people on those courses. So they have postgraduate open days as well. And yes, you will need to be able to do one of those postgraduate courses. So you won't come out of health and social care as a child nurse, for example. You'll need to go on to another programme to do that afterwards. But again, you'll be doing that with all the knowledge you've gained from the 3 years. And we recommend you come on the postgraduate open days, say early in your second year, just to get an idea of what's available.
Just to add to what Carl said as well, those courses, so radiography, nursing, social work, sit within our college. So we talk to the other teams, and so we can help make those links for students if it's something that they're thinking of pursuing postgrad, because they sit within our college.
Perfect. Thank you very much, both. We'll get through a couple more questions. We've got 1 minute to go. Someone has asked, do you have any examples of assessments I can expect on this course?
Okay, I'll do that one quickly then. So we have students writing essays, we have them producing posters, we have them doing presentations, we have them working on case studies. We do some role play. It's journals, a variety of assessment methods. It really isn't all writing essays. It's a whole variety of different assessment methods, and that's true across the 3 years as well. I hope that wasn't too short to answer. I'm just conscious of time.
No, that was perfect. Thank you. And the final question then for this evening is, I'm thinking about coming to the June open day. Will the facilities be open for me to have a look at?
Absolutely. The open days are brilliant. You can come and meet us. So come and find the room that we're in. You can also go and do campus tours. You can go and see where the coffee shop is. It'll be open. You can have a coffee. It's brilliant. You can explore other facilities for different programs as well. You can talk to things like finance. And so, yes, everything is open on the open day. Even the Eat Central, the cafe, where you get the food is open as well. So there's so much. Have a look on our website for the next open day, and it'll tell you all the things you can do. But yeah, if you're thinking of studying, and you can, I really recommend you get to one of the open days and come and say hello. Come and say you've been to the webinar, and we'll be there.
Thank you, Carl. So that's all the questions we have for this evening. So thank you both very much for an excellent presentation. And I'll hand it off to both of you to say final goodbyes.
Well, thank you very much for coming, everybody, and take care. And hopefully we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for some really interesting questions as well. And please don't hesitate to get in touch. There really isn't anything that we're not prepared to answer and talk to you about. There's no such thing as a daft question. So please just drop us an email and we'll get back to you. Thank you.